read a second time, and I call the honourable member for Ryan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the Veterans Affairs Legislation Amendment, Budget and Other Measures Bill 2016. This bill and the topic of our veterans is one that is very dear to not only me but also the wider community of the Ryan electorate. We are all here today, no matter our political creed, as a result of the freedoms afforded to us by our veterans. With Ryan proudly home to the Gallipoli Barracks at Enoggera, the second largest military base in our country, this bill is of great interest to many in my electorate. It is only fitting that this bill provides further measures, a result of the 2016-17 budget, that seek to improve the lives of our servicemen and women. This bill contains three measures. Firstly, to pay interim incapacity payments at 100% of normal earnings. Secondly, to extend eligibility for non-liability healthcare treatment for certain mental health conditions to cover all current, former and future ADF members. Third and finally, this bill will align the cut-off age for incapacity payments to the increased pension age as defined in the Social Security Act 1991. Mr Deputy Speaker, I have seen and continue to see firsthand the struggles faced by our veterans. Importantly, through this bill, the Coalition Government is paving the way to a system that supports all veterans in need of assistance, former, current and future personnel. Currently, when a member is discharged from the ADF, there can be a period of time before incapacity payments can be determined, while superannuation entitlements are finalised. I, along with my coalition colleagues, appreciate the immense financial pressure this can cause some discharged members. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, by enabling interim incapacity payments at 100% of normal earnings, veterans will receive their pre-discharge salary during this period of time. I note that this measure will be available immediately upon discharge at a level commensurate with the member's regular salary. The number of cases of mental health conditions amongst the defence community is ever increasing and illustrates the horrors that many have seen and experienced. The non-liability healthcare measure within this bill extends eligibility to all current and former permanent members of the ADF diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, depression, alcohol use disorder and substance use disorder. Further to the expansions of the range of conditions for which the NLHC may be provided, the treatment will also become more accessible. There will be no need to lodge a formal application. Simply telephone or email the Department of Veterans Affairs and ask for treatment. To be eligible for NLHC members will only be required to have just 1 day of continuous full-time service to access treatment. And there is no need for a formal diagnosis at the time of requesting treatment. A diagnosis is, however, required within 6 months. It is estimated that under these changes, 67,000 additional current and former permanent members of the ADF will become eligible to receive NLHC treatment for a mental health condition. The NLHC facilitates fast access to mental health treatment and encourages early intervention to offer the best chance of recovery. Mr Deputy Speaker, by aligning the cut-off age for incapacity payments to the increased pension age, the Coalition Government is improving support for veterans. This amendment will enable veterans to continue to receive incapacity payments up until they become eligible for the age pension. Mr Deputy Speaker, the defence community instills a sense of family that is unsurpassed. This is evident through none other than the RSLs in my electorate. Gaythorne RSL, Sherwood Indooroopilly RSL, Kenmore Moggill RSL, Toowong RSL and the Gap RSL all play an important role in the support of our returned servicemen and women and their families. And I digress for a moment to congratulate the RSL on successfully obtaining the next Invictus Games for Australia. These RSL organisations help provide support through their financial and other assistance to the defence family. They provide a local place of remembrance and significance important to those who have served as well as the newer generations. I urge not only the members here today but all Australians to support their local RSL, whether it's through a visit for a meal or perhaps attending the many significant ceremonies held every year. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, let us not overlook the pivotal role our schools play to ensure the everlasting memory of our servicemen and women. I recently attended the Ferny Grove State School Festival, and while there I was pleased to revisit a memorial garden funded through the Anzac Centenary Grants Program. The memorial garden, shaped like a Flanders poppy, gives students a place to sit and reflect on the Anzac tradition, its values of service, sacrifice, selflessness, mateship and bravery. I know that future generations, not just those attending Ferny Grove State School, will also benefit from the many wonderful memorials and dedications in their own schools and communities. I'd like to place on record my acknowledgement and appreciation to all those who are currently serving in Australia and around the world, and also to their families who make great sacrifices, and often our community members don't appreciate the impact it has on them. Let us all remember that the very democracy which elected us to this place is a benefit derived from our veterans. Mr Deputy Speaker, the measures in this bill are not only timely, but they are a reminder that we as a country should always support the selfless work of Australia's defence personnel. These measures are a step in the right direction for which so many veterans and their families, of whom many are constituents of the Ryan electorate, have awaited. I thank the opposition for their support and I commend this bill to the House.
The question